Welcome back. Now, the Savanna Comics Choice Comedy Awards are back and celebrating 10 years. Well, to celebrate the decade, the awards will introduce exciting new changes. Traditionally, it would focus on stand-up comedy, but new times bring new opportunities to appeal to a broader audience and become a household name. Well, comedic content creators and agencies can now also join the esteemed list of comedic greats. Now, to share some more on the call to entry, we're joined on Zoom by Manuela Dias de Deus, who is on Zoom with us. Good morning, Manuela. I mean, talk to us about 10 years of the Comics Choice Awards. I can't imagine a year without them, or, you know, the scene without them. I mean, what's the last 10 years, what does it look like?
Sure. Well, we unfortunately had to manage a couple of years without the Comedy Awards because of COVID. So what we have now is an industry that is very different to how it was a few years ago. The comedy industry was absolutely booming. We had so many comedy clubs in all the cities, and unfortunately over lockdown, all the comedy clubs have closed down. And so comedians have been battling to find residencies and places to actually perform live. So when we decided to reintroduce the Comics Choice Awards for the 10th year, after the 2 years it didn't happen, we've actually included new categories to support comedians that have taken content online and comedic content creators too. So broadening the opportunity for stand-up comedians, comedy festivals, brands, and comedic content creators to enter.
Mm-hmm. And what does this new category look like?
So there are 11 award categories. There are 7 for stand-up comedians, and then there are 4 new categories for comedic content. So we have the uplifting comedic content category, which is brought to us by Lift Airlines, one of our sponsors, and it celebrates any really, really cool, funny comedy that uplifted you. We've got the Burn of the Year category, which I'm sure the name says it all. We've got the Funniest Funny category, which is a category that was actually created suggested by Angel Campy, a comedian, to get brands and agencies on board, because they're always being asked for comedians to say what's funny. So now there's a category where comedians can actually judge funny ads. And then there's also a funny influencer content category, because so many brands are using comedians in their campaigns, and they are brilliant. I'm sure that you've seen quite a few of them. So we would love to celebrate the comedians actually doing incredible work for brands as well.
Yeah.
We want to support ultimately the business side of comedy and use the Comics Choice Awards as a platform to help build comedians' career on stage and sort of behind their cameras, well, in front of the camera.
Mm. Speak to us about, you know, the prizes and what's in store for those winning in the different categories.
So it's a huge accolade to win a Waldo. The Waldo is the name of the statuette. We are actually changing it. There are quite a few changes this year because it's the 10th birthday, so it's the 10th birthday year.
Yeah.
So as well as changing the categories, we're actually changing the look of the statue a little bit as well. So each winner receives a Waldo, and they win a prize hamper to the value of 5,000 Rand, which has never happened before. We also have a huge focus on newcomer comedians, and we're creating a newcomer incubator for all newcomer comedians this year as well, which is going to be really exciting. And we're working on getting some really cool prizes for them too.
Mm-hmm. What for you has been the highlight of, you know, this process since it started over 10 years ago?
Oh, I'd have to say there are 3 events on the Comics Choice Awards calendar. There's the Savanna Newcomer Showcase. That is one of the first events that takes place to showcase newcomer comedians. Then we announce the nominees at an event a few months later, and then we do the main awards event a few months later. The next year's event is actually in April. One of the highlights is seeing newcomer comedians who I didn't know at the time absolutely break through via the Savanna Newcomer Showcase. So it was the first time any of us saw Skulpur Zadenhoek performing at the Soweto Theatre years ago. Lisa Madinga killed it, and those two really, really stand out for me. And then, of course, when it comes to the actual awards show itself, seeing the entire comedy industry on the dance floor at the after party, they're never all together. You'll never see everybody in the same room on a Saturday night because they're generally gigging. Yeah. So the atmosphere is really amazing.
Mm-hmm. Talk to us about the event that's coming up. What have you got in store for that particular night?
So because it's the 10th year and it's the 10th birthday, we actually want to give the comedy industry a little bit of a treat. Historically, it's been a show that's happened at a theatre, in a theatre auditorium. This year, we're actually taking it off-site to a venue. It's smaller, drinks, food, variety show, incredible awards, and then a really, really cool after party.
So how do comedians who are interested enter for the new Savanna Choice Awards?
So anybody who wants to enter, so if you're a comedian, a comedic content creator, a brand or an agency, you go to comicschoice.com, read the various categories and enter there. It's really, really easy. Entries close on the 8th of January though. So we're doing a big push to get everybody to enter as soon as possible, because when you're on your summer holiday, where are you going to be entering from? So yeah, big drive to get to drive entries before they close on the 8th of January. You can even nominate your favorite sort of Hall of Fame comedian. If you really love somebody who's been in the industry for a long time, go online and nominate who you'd want to win that particular category.
I'm interested in this Hall of Fame of, how do we even begin to choose? I mean, we're looking at graphics on TV at the moment, on our screens at the moment. I mean, I'm seeing, Evita, I'm seeing David Gau. I mean, those are comedians that have been in the industry way long, Celeste Ntuli as well. Where do we even begin choosing a Hall of Famer?
You've got to have a favorite. Surely you've got your favorite. So we're actually, as a team, going out and watching new comedy all the time. And it's so great how many comedians are touring and doing one-man shows. But it's also important that the big names are actually entering, because without the big names as part of the actual comedy awards, brands and sponsors are interested in big names. And the newcomer comedians are the ones we really need to build to get up to that level. So it's very important that they enter and that everybody sort of votes for who they really want to win, because we need iconic stalwarts and emerging talent to really be profiled through this incredible initiative.
Are you at liberty to tell us who's on your judging panel?
The comedians vote for comedians. So that's why it's called the Comics Choice Comedy Awards. So anybody that's registered in the stand-up category actually gets to vote in the stand-up category. And then the comedians with the five highest votes in each category become the 5 nominees. And then 4 of those categories actually go out for public voting after the nominees are announced in March. So it's comedians voting for comedians. That's why it's the Comics Choice Comedy Awards.
All right, Manuela, thank you so much for talking to us. Good luck with the 10th edition of this year's.
Thank you so much for giving us time.
We love having you on the program. Thank you so much. That's the Savanna Comics Choice Awards. Comedy Awards is the most successful, longest-running comedy awards platform in South Africa. And we just spoke to Manuela Dias de Deus. She is the managing director of One-Eyed Jack.